Thank you. Greetings. I'd like to begin our meeting of the regular governing board meeting for April 8th, 2026. Please let the record reflect that we have the following board members present: Ms. Rosa Cantu, Ms. Cassandra Hernandez, and Board President Lydia Hernandez. And please let the record reflect that it is 6:02. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I believe we've got students. Right? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And that was the students at Manuel Peña Junior Elementary students. And I'd like to introduce, we've got Miss Jessie Lee and Laurie Richards present, representatives. The Cartwright School District is located, okay. Oh, please let the record reflect that we have two additional board members joining us at 6:03, and we've got Ms. Romero and Ms. Denise Garcia. The Cartwright School District is located on the ancestral homelands of the Hohokam, Akimil Odom, and Odom Jude ancestors of the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community, or SRP, otherwise known as SRP MIC. We acknowledge the rich oral history, culture of these communities, and their ancestral ties to the land. I move that we adopt the agenda as presented. Ms. Cantu, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. And I will proceed to go into a roll call vote. Ms. Rosa Cantu, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Ms. Hernandez, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Ms. Romero, welcome back. How do you vote?
I will abstain.
Okay, an abstention. And Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And I vote aye, and motion carries. Moving on, we've got the Cartwright School District Award of Excellence, Mr. Victor Rodriguez.
Good evening, Madam President, Lydia Hernandez, Mr. Steve Watson, governing board members, executive team, and everyone joining us both in person and on YouTube. On Friday, March 20th, we had the pleasure of celebrating our outstanding principal, teacher, and ESP of the year at the Brewer Stadium. So I want to thank everybody who came together for this special occasion. So we recorded this, so please enjoy the highlights of this celebration.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Cartwright Familia. Thank you all for being here to help us celebrate three very special people, our employees of the year, on this beautiful day. Very warm out here. We just want to congratulate our three employees of the year and just thank them so very much for all of the efforts, all the contributions, and the dedication to the Cartwright community and our students.
This is just an exciting time for Cartwright. I was glad to see that we had our staff being able to kick off this game for this weekend for the Brewers. It's just great time for Cartwright.
So thank you for all your hard work and just representing Cartwright and being an advocate for kids. I don't think people realize just every role, whether it's food services, whether it's custodial, whether it's teaching, whether it's principaling, it's all for kids. And 12,000 kids coming through our doors every day. And thank you for your hard work.
That's a good video. Thank you. Great video. Thank you.
Excuse
Ms.
me,
Cantu?
madam. Yes. Can they name the people that received the award, the teachers? Because
Are they here? Okay.
Yeah, Miss Bishop from Cartwright, from John F. Long Elementary School District. Deb Kinsley, Principal of the Year from Holiday Park. And Mr. Cepeda from Peralta. Thank you.
Wonderful. Madam President, I just want to add, man, you guys look like pop stars. That video was awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you for all your contributions to Cartwright. I think that was special. I'm glad that we were able to have you guys be a part of that. That's very, very special. Thank you for all your hard work to those who aren't here as well.
Thank you. And moving on, we do have the call to the public. The call to the public is for consideration and possible discussion of comments and complaints from the public. The governing board will not take any legal action on matters raised during this portion of the meeting unless the comments and complaints pertain to items included on the agenda. A 3-minute time limit is set, and all are asked to adhere to this limit. The governing board may direct staff to study matters raised by the public or to reschedule those matters for future consideration, discussion, and possible action at a later date. And I do have a few. I want to just share our policy BEDH regarding public participation at board meetings. So if considered necessary, the president shall set the time limit on the length of the comment period in order to ensure that each individual has an opportunity to address the board. And the president may also set a time limit for individual speakers. With that, I will begin with the call to the public participants. And I have Ms. Shenny Pierce. And this is regarding Ms. Janet Heck and Mr. Brandon West.
If you could just push that button right there, it's the one on the right.
Good evening.
It's got a. Yep, I believe you. I believe you. We just got to make sure it's on.
Thank you. Good evening, President Hernandez, governing board members, and Superintendent Mr. Watson. My name is Shenny Pierce, and I am a kindergarten teacher at Spitalny. I have taught at Spitalny for 14 years. I am also a proud product of the Cartwright School District and a homeowner here in Maryville. Public speaking has always been a challenge for me, but I believe it is important to speak when something truly matters. Since learning that Spitalny's administrators, Brandon West and Janet Hecht, will not be returning next year, I have felt both deep sadness and confusion. My heart goes out to them, and I also feel this is a significant loss for our school and our community. Mr. West has been at Spitalny for 3 years and has made a tremendous impact. He genuinely cares about our students and takes the time to build meaningful relationships. He even knows every child by name. At the elementary level, where male role models are fewer, his presence has been especially meaningful. He exemplifies kindness, respect, and strong character while also maintaining high expectations for our students. Mrs. Hecht has dedicated 13 years to shaping Spitali into a school that excels. Our school came within just 0.67 points of earning an a reflection of her commitment. Beyond academics, she has always prioritized creating joyful, memorable experiences for students and has supported teachers like me in doing the same. However, what truly sets Mrs. Hecht apart is her leadership. She has had a profound impact on my personal and professional growth. I have often struggled with confidence, but she has encouraged me in a way that has empowered rather than pressured me, offering opportunities that have helped me find my voice, be brave, take risks, and grow as an educator. With her support, I have taken on leadership roles and achieved my national board certification, all with her constant encouragement. On a personal level, she has also been a source of care and support, checking in on my well-being, lifting me up during difficult times, and celebrating successes alongside me. She has been more than a principal. She has been a mentor and a steady source of encouragement. Together, Mrs. Hecht and Mr. West have made Spitali a truly special place, a school where students thrive, staff feel supported, and families feel welcome. Their absence will deeply be felt by us all. I hope they know how valued and appreciated they are by this community. Thank you for your time.
I'm sorry. It's, Sandra Cobos.
Okay, I'm Reese as well. Married name. Good evening, President Hernandez, Governing Board members, Acting Superintendent Mr. Watson, and everyone here with us this evening. Today, I want to take a moment to speak from the heart about two leaders who have meant so much to our school community, Principal Janet Hecht and Assistant Principal Brandon West. For 13 years, Mrs. Hecht has been more than just a principal at Spitali. She has been a steady presence, someone who truly listens, understands, and cares. She has supported students and staff through challenges, celebrated our successes, and created an environment where people feel seen and valued. That kind of leadership doesn't just happen. It's built over years of dedication, compassion, and genuine commitment to our community. Mr. West, though he hasn't been here, he's only been here for a shorter time at Spitali, has made an impact that feels just as deep. He didn't just take on a role. He took on the time to truly get to know our students and families. He showed up, he listened, and he made people feel important. That effort, that intentional care, is something that does not go unnoticed. Hearing that their contracts will not be renewed has been difficult for many of us. It's not just about a change in leadership, it's about losing people who have built relationships, trust, and a sense of belonging within this school, within Spitali. What makes a school strong isn't just policies or buildings, it's people. It's the leaders who show kindness, who make time, who remember names, who care about what happens both inside and outside the classroom. Mrs. Hecht and Mr. West have done exactly that. And one of the clearest reflections of their leadership is something we can all see and feel, our growth. Year after year, our state testing scores have continued to rise. But those numbers represent more than data. They represent students who believed in themselves, teachers who felt supported, and a school culture that refused to settle for less than its best. That kind of progress doesn't happen without leadership that pushes, encourages, and truly believes in its people. They didn't just lead a school, they helped us all become better. Today, I simply want to say thank you to you both. Janet and Brandon, thank you for the years of commitment, for the countless moments of support, and for the positive impact you've made on so many lives. That impact will not be forgotten. No matter what comes next, the legacy of that you leave at Spitali will remain in the students, the families, and the staff whose lives you've touched. You may be leaving your roles, but you will never leave this community because you are part of who we are now. Once a tiger, always a tiger. Thank you.
Miss Sedona Parks.
I swear we didn't all write these together. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. An admirable educational leader that I know often uses two phrases when met with adversity: take the high road and don't let them steal your joy. Tonight, I will do my best to follow that advice. My name is Sedona Parks, and all 5 of my years in education have been at Spitolny working under Janet Hecht. I had no idea as a fresh college graduate how lucky I would be to say that. I moved to Arizona from Illinois and started my career alone, but I felt at home as soon as I set foot on Spitolny's campus, thanks to Janet. From the start, she worked to make me feel welcomed and supported, and that never wavered. If I needed anything, I knew that her door was open and she would be present in our conversations no matter what. She was always open to trying new things on her campus in order to promote learning, student well-being, parental involvement, anything to make our school better. Janet pushed her staff hard, but it's clear that she wants to be the best and she wants nothing but the best for our students. There were multiple occasions in which we would go to trainings, whether it be district or state level, and we were already a step ahead. Unpacking standards, backwards design, effect size of different educational practices, you name it, Janet had already done it. If there was an opportunity to grow her staff, she took it, and I'm a better teacher because of Janet Hecht. Brandon West came to Spitolny 3 years ago, and the entire feel of our campus changed when he did. It's clear that he's passionate about what he does. He calls our students by name, no matter if they're in kindergarten or 8th grade. He makes himself visible to students by walking the hallways and classrooms, never hesitating to jump in and make a point of contact with different scholars in order to build relationships. Brandon is also the first person to offer new instructional strategies and talk through roadblocks when it comes to planning and teaching. The behaviors in our school have significantly decreased since he started at Spitolny, but when behaviors do arise, he handles them efficiently and effectively. Not only that, but he's also willing to sit down and talk through behavior management and consequences if and when I struggle in my classroom. Our students know him, they trust him, and they will feel the loss when he's no longer on our campus. All that being said, I truly cannot fathom how or why a district is okay with losing such high-quality administrators. I think that it's a major disservice to our school, district, and community to let Janet and Brandon go, and it's certainly not what's best for kids. This past year at Spitolny in particular has truly felt different. We're working harder than ever to accomplish our goals of student achievement and growth, but Janet and Brandon have been the glue and the driving force to get us here. We do not know what the future holds for Spitolny, but I know for a fact that our students, families, staff, and community will not be the same without them. I envy everyone who has the privilege of working with them next year, but I'm also so excited for them. Our loss really is their gain. Thank you.
Next, I have Don Nixon.
Hello, everybody. I guess here we are again. I just want to state a couple of things to you. It's been a pleasure knowing these two people, Brandon West and Janet Heck. Janet was actually the principal when my daughter with disabilities actually attended the school, which is now a high school graduate. She's been a very important person to all of my kids on campus, and I just don't understand the reason why we're letting both of them go. I come to wonder if it's because they've supported the teachers in so many ways and the students in so many ways that you guys would want to give them up. Can anybody answer that? Or willing to answer it? Lydia? No? Okay. I'm just saying, I'm asking a
Want to
question.
respond to you that this is called to the public and we're not able
Right.
to respond. We can listen.
Okay, well, I don't understand, and it's heartbreaking to my children to know that not only do they have to go to school for 5 days, now they are losing two people that are prominent in their lives. Like I said, I am a foster mom and I have foster kids. Brandon is there. Brandon is there for all of their opportunities. He talks to them. He gets to know them. He knows how they read. He knows how they test. He knows what teachers they are. I mean, they literally know my kids in and out. And I think that you are being a big disservice to them to get rid of these two people. And I want you to understand the impact that you're going to have not only on this school, but the district, because you're letting them go to another school to be an amazing principal and vice principal somewhere else. And I just want you guys to know that. Okay? Thank you.
Next I have is Miss Cecilia Moreno.
Good evening. I am Cecilia Moreno, taxpayer, district resident, concerned citizen. Livia has called me an activist, and if advocating for needs of students and teachers and staff, I continue to wear the badge of honor. In addition, I am also a retired high school business teacher, having taught Cartwright students for 17 years at Trevor Brown. So I am familiar with the needs of these students. I am also a member of AEA Retired, where we lobby legislators at the Capitol on education bills. That is who I am. So know that I'm not going away. My question to you today is, once again, what is your agenda? The fact that we have an illegally appointed, not vetted superintendent who is allegedly accused of fraud in his prior position in an article by the Arizona
Just
Republic.
point of order, Ms. Moreno. Please
Would you please
refrain.
I have 3 minutes.
Refrain
I have
from.
3 minutes. You're
You have
taking up my
lost the
time.
opportunity.
I
Please
have
step
3
away from the podium.
I have
I
3
did
minutes.
provide a warning. We did provide the information. Please step away from the podium.
I have
Please
the
step
right
away
to
from
be
the
here.
podium.
Since we last met
I
on
will
March
not
18th,
tolerate any attacks, any personal attacks.
since
She
we
knows the
last
rules.
met on March
Please step
18th,
away from the podium.
CFO Victoria Farrar has
Thank you.
been terminated without due process. The termination came from a hearing officer selected by Acting President Superintendent Watson. In addition, I have received numerous calls from Spitalny parents regarding Principal Janet Hess and Assistant Principal Brandon West, whose contracts were not renewed. Under Principal Hess and Mr. West's administrative lead, Spitalny was just points away from an A grade. I have heard from parents and staff regarding concerns and the uncertain direction of their school. This decision is a terrible loss for the Cartwright District. I ask again, what is your agenda? I have been informed that there have been 7 positions cut in an attempt to fund your 5-day, $5 million project. At our last meeting, Dr. Etheridge presented next year's budget, and I failed to see where he listed the consultation fees. Why not terminate the consulting fees paid for Jacob Chavez and Zeke Ohe and protect teachers' positions that directly affect students? On April 23rd, the Glendale Elementary District will approve Principal Hess's contract. We commend Glendale for seizing the moment and this great opportunity and contracting a phenomenal leader. Our loss.
Their gain. Thank you.
During call to the public, we have a board policy that does not allow for attacks, personal attacks, especially unverified misinformation, and you continue to spew out in misinformation, Ms. Moreno. We're going to have to take measures to prevent you from doing that. Thank you.
Just for the
Moving
record,
forward,
those
we
allegations
are
are
moving forward,
true,
and
according to AZ
we have
Central.
the consent agenda. Ms. Cantu, do I have I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. And I will proceed to a roll call vote. How do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Ms. Hernandez, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Romero, how do you vote?
I vote nay.
Thank you. And Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Thank you. Before I cast my vote, I would like to explain my vote. So I continue to question the ongoing payments to Jacob Chavez and Zeke OJ.
Ms.
Excuse me,
Garcia,
I'm
please, we are
explaining my
voting.
vote. I'm
We are
explaining my
voting.
vote. Lydia,
Point
I'm
of order.
explaining.
Point of order.
Point of order. Point of order. I am trying to explain my vote.
We're
I need you
going
to
to
listen.
take a 5-minute recess
and we will
starting
continue
now.
this.
This is exactly,
Please let
this
the
has to
record
do with
reflect
what
it
is on the consent agenda.
6:26.
Lydia,
Lydia,
Thank you.
this has to do with
Thank you. Please let the record reflect that it is 6:38, and I'm bringing the meeting back to order from the recess. And we will proceed again with the, Ms. Garcia, you were explaining your vote regarding the approval of the consent agenda as presented, and that is the motion on the table.
Yes. I continue to question the ongoing payments to Jacob Chavez and Zeke OJ. We are asked to approve today separate payments to each at $9,875, which adds to amounts paid before. I've asked publicly and privately to see the procurement and rationale for these payments and have received nothing. The amounts paid exceed the mandatory procurement threshold. Any payments over $10,000 in a school year need at least written quotes. Jacob Chavez, grand total that he has, I don't know, earned, but has received $97,875. Zeke OJ, grand total $81,875. For the minutes of the March 18th, 2026 meeting and the annual audit presented, I reiterate my disappointment and disapproval of the use of a biased investigator for the purpose of alleging violations of open meeting law for meetings held in October 2024 and December 2024. Therefore, my vote is nay.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia, and I vote aye, and motion carries. And moving forward, I've got item F for action items. I've got the presentation, approval of English Language Arts ELA textbook adoption, and purchase of materials for 26-27 in the amount not to exceed $4,200,000. Dr. Ruiz.
Good evening, Superintendent Watson, Madam President Hernandez, governing board members, and Cartwright community. The administration recommends the approval of an English Language Arts textbook adoption and purchase of materials for the 2026-2027 school year in the amount not to exceed $4.2 million, utilizing RFP 260133. Today's recommendation is the next step in the procurement process for a new English Language Arts curriculum. The adoption process follows ARS 15-721 and governing board policy. A reading adoption committee was formed to review materials and guide the process. Vendors were solicited through the procurement process. Materials were reviewed by the committee and displayed for public viewing for the required 60 days. After reviewing the information, attending webinars, and vendor presentations, the committee brought forward 2 final vendor selections for voting. Principals, district administrators, teachers, teacher specialists were invited to participate in the voting. The results were presented to the executive team for approval. The executive team approved the voting process and the final selection recommended by the voters and determined that the final selection would best meet the needs of the students in grades K-8 and that the governing board approval be requested. On February 18th, 2026, the governing board approved the award of RFP 260133, K-8 ELA adoption to adopt ELA curriculum from Savvis Learning Company. This evening, we've also invited our representative from Savvis, Jane Fairbacher, to answer any questions that you may have about this adoption. I'm going to go ahead and invite both Jane and Jessica up to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ruiz. Are there any questions regarding the Language Arts ELA textbook adoption?
Yes, Madam President.
Okay, Ms. Cantu.
Last time, my question was that how many students are we going to impact with this particular
Great question.
material?
What's the total
The total number of students we have. So every single student in Cartwright kinder through 8th grade.
Okay, thank you. And that will help him understand the. Allow me to think. I'm not thinking clearly here, but those will impact every language learners in the district.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. I heard a different number last time, so that's where I wanted to clarify. But thank you so much, and I'm glad that we are doing this for our students because they deserve
any opportunity, any better program that is out there. What we do here is for them, and I apologize if I ask questions sometimes, but it's always in the best interest of the student. Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the adoption? Okay, none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So with that, I move that we approve the English Language Arts ELA textbook adoption and purchase of materials for 2026-2027 in the amount not to exceed $4,200,000 utilizing RFP number 26-01-33. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
I second.
Thank you. And I will proceed to a roll call vote. And Ms. Cantu, how do you vote?
I vote aye, Madam President.
Thank you. And Ms. Hernandez, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Romero, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye. And it is approved. Moving on to item number 2, I've got the approval of the proposed 26-27 governing board meeting dates. Mr. Watson.
Yeah, Madam President, Governing Board, this for your approval or not is just a list of the Governing Board meeting dates for the upcoming year. We used this year's calendar and previous calendars to select days. Some of those months where we have multiple meetings in a month are months where things are heavy in a school district and lots of businesses going on. And so we have to have multiple meetings. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. As you also all know, there's opportunities to have special meetings when special events or different business needs to happen. And so those are always an option as well.
Thank you. Are there any discussion regarding the proposed 26-27 governing board meeting dates? There not being any. I move that we approve the proposed 26-27 governing board meeting dates. Ms. Cantu, do I have a second?
Second.
And I'll proceed with a roll call vote. How do you vote?
I vote aye, Madam President.
Thank you. Ms. Hernandez, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Romero, how do you vote?
I will abstain.
Thank you. An abstention. And Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Second abstention, and I vote aye, and motion carries. Going on to item number 3, approval of the work calendars for school administrators, district administrators, and executive administrators. Dr. Etheridge.
Madam President, governing board members, so as we talked about last time, now that the school calendar is approved, now we have a variety of work calendars to be approved. Last time we approved teachers and RSPs. This time for this set of work calendars, these are school administrators, district administrators, and executive administrators. These work calendars just align to the 5-day week. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions regarding the working calendars?
I have a question.
Ms. Garcia?
Yeah, my question actually is for Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson, previously you had ensured that we would be discussing these calendars, the school calendar, the work calendar, and I was never involved in those discussions prior to any approvals. And here we are again discussing the same thing without any information whatsoever based on your decisions, the majority decisions. Could you please explain that?
Yeah, Madam President, Ms. Garcia, the governing board approved a calendar, which was the key calendar that indicated how we should build our staff calendars. So different employees have different work schedules. Some employees work 12 months out of the year, some work 11, some are part-time. There's just a variety of work calendars. This is one of those calendars. We've brought these calendars like this in the past without governing board conversations. I will say, I think we did over 2 meetings have a robust conversation around the calendar. I also, in our
I submit a board bulletin regularly to the governing board. And prior to our conversations on the original calendar, I included some information because, to allay some of your concerns of not having input ahead of time, I made sure for 2 weeks prior to those conversations in the board bulletin that there was information about those calendars. And so, we've had those discussions. Those discussions happen out in public. And it's great to have those discussions in a democracy out in public for our governing board.
I appreciate that. I am just a little concerned about the contradiction. You just stated that it was board approved, and now you're stating that these discussions took place in other meetings, which we were not a part of. So although, again, you did state that you ensured the fact that we would be involved in the discussion of these calendars that affect employees across the district,
Yeah.
as well as our students. And I don't know, Miss Jenny, have you been invited to these discussions? Because I haven't. There you go.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I find that to
Just-
be quite concerning.
Madam
While
President,
these
Ms. Garcia.
decisions are still being made and not deliberated by the entire board. Thank you.
Yeah, Madam President, Ms. Garcia, just those conversations that we had were done in public. There weren't private conversations. We provided those emails with information on the board bulletin, and the conversations around those calendars happened in a public meeting, and that's how it should be.
Yes, they did, and you're
Thank
correct.
you.
They should be.
Thank
However,
you.
you did state that
Thank
we
you,
would
Ms.
be
Garcia.
discussing this further, tabling the calendars, which never happened. I just want that on public record. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I think there's been some confusion because at the last meeting when we were discussing other items along with the audit, there was extensive conversation. In fact, I asked for, I don't recall who explained it, maybe Dr. Etheridge, but to explain the difference between, because I questioned the amount of calendars that were being shared. And I'm the one that requested that they be shared with the board because it was the first time that I'd ever been exposed with that many calendars and didn't know that there were several other working calendars based on different categories. And we had extensive conversation of that at the last meeting. So I just want to correct, and I think in Dr. Watson's explanation right now, you also misunderstood because he said public. I heard that, so I just want to make sure for the record that we seem to be jumping to conclusions, but we are, for the record, we have had conversations. They're just different calendars that address or cover different working scenarios, different categories of individuals as they have different schedules.
Yeah, no, I understand that clearly. However, previously at a previous board member, when I had asked, are there any surveys? Had there been any surveys? And there had not. And Mr. Watson said he had conversations in parking lots with parents. But was that all the parents at all the schools? And what did that look like for our employees? So those are the concerns that I am bringing before this board because none of that has been addressed.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. And just for clarification, there's one general main calendar that I believe is the one that you're referencing to. These are different calendars. Again, I myself have served, I think maybe 20 years, and I've not been exposed to these calendars with different categories. So I am very appreciative of that. And we did have a lengthy conversation. I just don't want to make sure you walk away with the accurate understanding of what is on the item that we're discussing, which is the approval of work calendars. So we were in the question and discussion. Are there any other questions regarding the working calendars that are on the agenda?
One last question regarding the working calendar.
I'm sorry, but I just asked a question. If there's any additional questions regarding the item on the agenda, number 3, approval of work calendars for
I just
school
said I have a
administrators.
question regarding that matter.
Want to make sure that it is for this item
It is
because you
regarding
tend
that
to
matter.
go off. What is your question on the calendars?
Yeah, so again, we had, was there ever a survey taken regarding the work calendar for the employees?
Just want to clarify again, these are several working calendars?
Yes, I'm aware of that. So and the reason why is because the last meeting we had, there was discussion regarding some employees that would be working 4 days, other employees that would be working 5 days. And how did that make sense for the ones who are working 4 days and 1 day at home versus the 5 days? And I believe Ms. Carr had addressed that, correct? So what was the outcome of
Ms.
that?
Garcia,
What was the outcome of that work calendar is what I'm asking.
Ms. Garcia, you're confused. I think let me clarify.
I am not
Let me, yes,
confused.
you are,
Okay.
ma'am. I'm sorry. The working calendars, Dr. Esrich, can you please explain the difference between that first one that we were discussed maybe 2 meetings ago and then versus this?
Yeah, Madam President. So the initial calendar and where most of the conversation took place, think about that as like the student or family calendar. These are the days that you're going to be attending school. This is the calendar I would hang on my refrigerator at home for what days I know that I need to come to school. The work calendars are, each employee group has their work calendar, and that's when they know I need to come to work. Now, of course, if kids are in school, the employee is working. So there's obviously a clear alignment between the student community calendar and the work calendar. But there are some days, for example, principals come back on July 13th where students aren't in session. But this work calendar tells them that's their first day of work. And so to address Ms. Garcia's question, the work calendar that we approved last time for the teachers, the teacher work calendar, there is no distinction between 4 and 5 day week. Every teacher's work calendar is a 5-day work calendar.
Okay, I appreciate that clarification because again, at that last meeting, the discussion was, or the question was, not discussion, the question was the 4-day work calendar versus the 5-day, which employees would be working 4 days and 1 day from home. That was unclear to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to make sure that we're understanding because we are going to take a vote that we are approving the work calendars. Ms. Cantu, do you have a question?
Yes, Madam President. Dr. Esrich, can you explain the difference between the previous student parents calendar versus the one that it was approved recently? And obviously, Ms. Garcia was not present, but can you explain that so she understands better what we do with that calendar or why was a better fit for the students and the families?
Talking about the work calendar, not the student calendar.
So, Madam President,
no, I ask a question. Respect my time.
Ms. Cantu, there isn't. Just want to clarify. Working calendars is what we're going to be voting on. Okay. So we're not voting on the other calendar, the general calendar that we already adopted and approved.
My apologies,
Dr. Esrich, you were going to say something for clarification. Just.
Madam President, no, that's fine. The idea for these work calendars is it aligns to the student calendar with the additional work days that students might not be in school, but the administrators would have to work.
Thank you. So with that, I move that we approve the work calendars for the school administrators, district administrators, and executive administrators. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. And how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Hernandez, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Romero, how do you vote?
First, I would like to explain my vote. I will be voting nay because I think that the general calendar that this is based on should be reevaluated to actually fit the needs of the community and have community input. So thank you.
And we are voting on the working calendars, not the previous.
Yes, it was just influenced by that previous decision, if you understand how that works.
Excuse me? For clarification, I'm sorry, what did you mean by that?
If you understand what I'm saying.
Thank you, Ms. Romero. It's been a while since I've seen you. Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Nay.
Thank you. And I vote aye, and motion carries. We are moving forward and going on to item number 4, presentation and approval of district dental vision life insurance and short-term disability providers for the 2027 school year. Dr. Etheridge.
Madam President, governing board members, so as you recall, last board meeting, we talked about medical insurance and covered the medical insurance, and now we're bringing back kind of some of those other insurance types, so dental, vision, life, short-term disability insurance for next school year. As a reminder, we took a look at all of these insurances, medical, dental, vision. Our current provider is offered through Valley Schools. So under the umbrella of Valley Schools, we have Delta Dental, we have VSP for vision, and then the short-term disability and life insurance is currently Sun Life. As a reminder, we went out in November for an RFP just to kind of sample the marketplace, see where medical premiums were at this point, see if there was something that we could do to provide a better cost for the district and our employees with better coverage. And so we went through that process. In February, we ended up canceling that process because it was in the best interest of the district to negotiate directly with some of those procurement exempt trusts. So we looked at ASBATE for medical. And within ASBATE, they do offer dental and vision insurance, but when we took a look at some of these other procurement exempt trusts, like the Arizona Health Pool Trust, they were able to provide some better insurance coverages for us for a better cost. So taking a look, let's start with dental. One of the other things we looked at when we were going through this process is we do always recognize that insurance changes can be, very hard for the employee. Certain people love their doctor, love their dentist. They want to make sure that we are providing as much consistency as we can across the board. And so as we took a look at Delta Dental, for example, I know, for example, I love my dentist. I know the kids actually went to the dentist yesterday. They love their dentist. And so when we looked at Delta Dental, was the one. Valley Schools being kind of grouped with medical, they bought down our dental insurance premiums a little bit. So when we went with the trust, the Delta Dental premiums actually are, I don't want to say a lot more expensive, but they are more expensive than what we were currently paying before. So we are still going to continue with Delta Dental for just continuity for our employees to make sure they can still continue to see the same dentist that they see. It will be a little bit more expensive, and you can see the level 1. We have 2 levels, level 1 and level 3. For example, employee only would increase by $530. The 2909 is still covered by the district, so we still are going to cover the employee only premium for dental, but it does increase, as you can see, through the table for level 1 and level 3. Now, with that being said, we also wanted to be cognizant of, we know that this is an increased cost, and family insurance especially can get pretty expensive. And so even though it's a couple $100, that's a couple $100 that could be in employees' pockets. And so we did provide another different type of insurance that we haven't had before. It is a much lower premium cost, as you can see, in that table. It's EMI, it's Summit Care. It's a DMO, and how that works for dental insurance is you have a menu. You think of a menu of services, and it tells you as long as you go with certain providers, there's a list of dental providers, and it's a pretty extensive list. But if you go with that provider, you know exactly what the cost is going to be. So preventative care, things like that are still $0 generally. But if I needed a crown, for example, if I go to this provider, I have a menu, I know I'm going to pay $400 for that crown. So you do co-pays, which basically this is the amount that you pay. So there's no kind of 80%, 20% coverage. It's just you pay the premium, and then you have a list of types of insurance that you go through for dental. As long as you go to that provider, you know what that cost is. So it's an option for those employees who, say, I just want a cheaper premium. I don't mind who my dentist is. That could be an option for that. So we wanted to make sure to offer that to our employees as well, knowing that dental did increase, probably the most significant out of any of our insurance plans. I know you can't read this, but what I wanted to point out with this idea, this is just the coverage page of what the coverages are. And the idea being that it's the same. The Delta Dental is the same coverage, so nothing is going to change in terms of coverage amounts or those types of things. So that's the idea of this slide. Moving on to vision. Vision also similar. There is a slight increase to the cost, but it's pennies on the dollar, 31 cents for family. We would continue. I apologize, there's a typo. That's a 608. It'd be the 620. We'd cover the base plan for the employee only for that VSP. It would be VSP Choice Plus. So it's a similar type insurance that we have. It's a little bit better in that one of the big things is that I noticed for sure, since I wear glasses and contacts, is frames. Currently, you get once every 2 years, you can get frames. Under this insurance, it's once every year that you could get your frames. So kind of a little bit of a benefit more for the vision coverage. Taking a look at voluntary short-term disability, the chosen vendor here is Prudential. The key here is that the premiums actually went down slightly and again, I know it's hard to read these tables, but the premiums actually went down a few dollars for every $1,000 of coverage that you have. It's a certain premium amount, and it went down a few cents for that. And then life insurance would also be through Prudential. Generally, when you're looking at insurance, your short-term disability and your life insurance is generally bundled together. Gives you a better rate for that. And the idea here for voluntary life insurance is that it is based on your age and the amount of coverage that you're looking for. So that's how life insurance works. And real quick, I do want to point out, going back to short-term disability quickly, what we currently have set up is that you can choose the amount of short-term disability that you get, the benefit that you get per week. So if I want $100, if I want $200, $300, $400, it's a different amount depending upon how much it is. Under this plan, it does change a little bit to where it just is going to cover you at your 66% of the salary, which is generally the maximum amount that you could take out anyways. So that it does limit the option. You can't take out I just need a couple $100 per week. You have to take out the 66% of the salary. That's how they're going to calculate what your premium is on that insurance. But again, both short-term disability and the life insurance, premium-wise, slight increase, but nothing. Slight increase for the life insurance, slight decrease for the short-term disability, but nothing again. Tens of dollars is what we're talking, not hundreds or anything like that. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
Yes, Madam President.
Ms. Cantu?
Dr. Etheridge, let's say that how much? Can you repeat the fees that the district pay for our employees on dental?
Yeah, Madam President, Vice President Cantu. So the district is going to cover the $29.09 per month per employee. So that's the employee only rate, and that amount will contribute to if I have employee plus one, so I put my spouse on, or family insurance. So that $29.09 is what the district's going to contribute, and then I, as the employee, would be responsible if I have my spouse on there or family for whatever that difference is.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that how much that the district contribute to, and this is to all the employees.
Madam President, Vice President Cantu, any employees that qualify for insurance, so any employees that work over 30 hours per week.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, are there any other questions?
Madam President.
Yes, Ms. Hernandez, yes.
Thank you. I'm very glad that we offer this to our employees. So not only dental, vision, and life insurance. That's very, very fortunate to be in that position. So I'm very glad that we have that.
Thank you.
And Madam President, Governing Board, Dr. Etheridge, I just want to say thank you to you and your team. We really do have just the work that your team has done to ensure that we have quality insurance and benefits at the lowest cost possible to our employees. If you look around the state and you see what some other districts, we're very fortunate for your hard work and to find gold nuggets sifting through a lot of the noise that's out there, and you found some really great ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Etheridge. If there are any other questions, I move that we approve the district dental, vision, life insurance, and short-term disability providers for the 2026-2027 school year. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu, and I will proceed to a roll call vote. And how do you vote?
I vote aye, Madam President.
Thank you. And Ms. Hernandez, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Romero, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Lydia, I vote aye.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia, and I vote aye, and motion carries. Going on to reports, summary of current events, Mr. Watson.
Yeah, Madam President, Governing Board, I want to just say thank you to just the community of Cartwright, the community of Maryvale for all the work that you're doing to support our kids. We have some terrific teachers and principals and staff, as we saw in our Employees of the Year. You know, it takes an army to ensure that every kid is safe and every kid is educated, every kid arrives to school safely. And then just the work you do to communicate with families and with parents. It's very much appreciated. I'm just a little bit over a year that I've been the acting superintendent here in the Cartwright Elementary School District. I think we've done some great things together. You know, we've got some terrific insurance. We've got a teacher pay raise. We've balanced a budget. I feel like going to 5 days is what's best for children. That's great. And we've focused dollars to the classroom. And so it's been great to be a part of this process. And at the same time, I think this is a prime moment for me to step away. So I just wanted to let the governing board know that I tendered my resignation with the Human Resources Department today. And so it's been an honor to serve with all 5 of you. And I appreciate the work that we've been able to do together.
Thank you. Thank you. It certainly has been a long year and a multitude of tasks, I think, that that needed addressing. And we certainly have addressed all of the above, including the financials, the curriculum, from the academic achievement, I think, with the focus working with the district-wide leadership to ensure that we got all that done. Thank you so much for your work. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service and your care for children. Thank you. And with that, going on to item H, other information discussion items. We've got the first reading for information regarding policy GDD, support staff vacations and holidays.
Madam President, Governing Board members, so this is the first reading for information regarding the proposed revised policy GDD, support staff vacations and holidays. Really, the idea of bringing this policy change is that the shift from 4 days to 5 days influence some of the board policies, such as vacations. So as we prepare to bring, hopefully at next, maybe a future Governing Board meeting, the ESP work calendars, this was a policy that needed to be changed first because of certain Fridays that needed to be labeled as holidays that weren't prior. This also takes a look at things like how many paid days for spring break, for example. It was 4 prior. Now it would be 5 because we're on a 5-day week. So that's what this policy does.
Okay. Any questions regarding the first reading for information regarding policy GDD? Support staff vacations. And this is certainly the first reading, so we'll be moving on that the following agenda for that opportunity for further discussion, if there's any. And I've got number 2. Do I have any, before moving on to item number 2? This is something that I should have addressed, I think, upon opening the meeting, and with a day-to-day task and everything that's involved in putting all the work that goes into and making the district function. We've got our board members, we've got families, everybody's family, things happen. And I want to take the moment to request, Ms. Cantu, if you don't mind, a moment of silence for the loss of your husband, who was certainly a part of our family. Thank you. Please join me in a moment of silence, please. Thank you, and I want to thank you for continuing with your service and continuing. We certainly have had a series of meetings that are helping us put together that plan moving forward. Thank you for your presence, for being here and being present. Um, and we share in the loss of your husband, as he was very much a part of all our activities throughout the many years and was very supportive of your service. And he will be very much missed. Thank you, Ms. Cantu. Uh, and we've got do I have, going on to item number 2, request for future agenda items or any information discussion for future board meetings?
I have a request.
Ms. Garcia?
My first one would be I'm continuing to request the procurement and scope of work for ongoing payments made to Jacob Chavez and Zeke OJ. I, for one, do not understand why they are paid to help Steve Watson when we have a qualified and certified superintendent on paid admin leave. And now that he has discussed his resignation, will we be doing a nationwide search, or have you already offered somebody a job like you did him previously?
For clarification,
Yeah.
this is not an agendized item. However,
Okay.
I will indulge you just for the sake of presenting accurate information that a nationwide search could only be done once we've concluded the superintendent that's on administrative leave and pending the outcome of the discussion that we had last time regarding the AG's office and all that. So we are not in a position to do that.
Correct. Okay, so who would be filling the position of Ms. Emma Haragi?
Again, I will not involve us in a violation of open meeting law. It's not something that's on the agenda, but I
Correct.
can certainly put it on the agenda
For a future
um,
agenda
for
item,
the
that would be
future
great.
agenda item.
Okay, thank you. And one
Thank
more
you,
thing.
Ms. Garcia.
Yeah, one more thing.
Uh-huh.
So I'm also, I had spoken with Mr. David Sandoval, and I believe years ago he did receive the Superintendent Award for his work that he does in the community. He's been here multiple times and has had his children here in Cartwright. So what he's been doing is he sponsors the No Limit Hoops, Solano No Limit Hoops. And so I was there. He said that he has invited several times, several board members. So I was glad to be able to go check it out myself. And I saw so many of our community youth there playing basketball, participating, socializing off the streets with something to do after school. So, as a future agenda item, I'd like to know perhaps we can discuss what that would look like to support him and his quest for the continuation. He did say that he is paying, I want to say $1,000 a month or something like that. I'm not sure who could answer that question on this. Oh, I know. Would you be able to speak to that, please?
And I've got a question. Ms. Garcia, the No Limit Hoops, is that a nonprofit organization?
He is not nonprofit. It's a voluntary program that he runs for our youth here in the community.
It here in Maryville.
Yeah, in fact, he's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He is at Castro, and so he does pay.
Because I am familiar with Mr. David Sandoval,
Right.
From years back, and he was a former board member at I believe Peoria School District.
Yeah, so he struggles with.
Which one?
Excuse
I'm
me?
sorry.
What did I say? Yeah, Solano.
No, Solano. No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the board school district.
Oh,
Peoria.
okay. Yeah.
That's where I
So-
know him from.
Yeah, so I think the struggle for him is to pay these fees. So I don't know, as a district, what can we do as a future agenda item to be able to discuss this? What can we do as a district to support the what he's doing, and that is supporting our youth and our students here. That would be my request. Thank you.
And do you know if that works like the soccer teams that are formed together?
It's they're not so much like teams that we would traditionally identify. However, it's a place like Steve Gallardo at Atkinson. Steve has a lot of children, Cartwright kids and community members, all youth, go to Atkinson and they're able to play basketball and participate and socialize. Well, Mr. Solano does the same thing. The difference is he cannot afford the fees in order to rent the spaces 2 days a week. So, again, to be able to discuss this as a future agenda item, what can we do to support him? What do those fees look like? And do they have to be exorbitant fees? What can we do?
Thank you. And the process for that is obviously we've got to present, we've got to listen to the information. But I'd like to, if perhaps we could look into learning more about that program and having you. Do you recall at a meeting when we had the YMCA come and share a report of something, the activity that we're doing or a program? It's the same process. We could just let us know. We could put it on the agenda for discussion. And Dr. Medrano, you said you had some information.
Yes, Madam President, Board Member Garcia, we do follow our board policy KF. I forget the additional exhibit references in regards to facility use, and it categorizes facility users as a Class 1, Class 2, or Class 3 facility user. Class 1 being an organization that is authorized by the board, like a little league, AYSO soccer league, anything mission related that is deemed by the governing board to be mission related. We can extend use for absent any fees. A class two user would be a non-profit organization, and like a civic organization, a service organization, and a class 3 user would be a for-profit organization. And class 2 and class 3 organizations do have hourly fees depending on the space that they utilize. I want to say for gyms, it is a $15 an hour fee for class 2 organization. Class 1 is something that, and we would have to kind of agree as a district that, this particular organization does meet what we consider to be a mission related use in support of the students in the community.
I appreciate that. Thank you. In fact, I was extremely pleased to see that these youth were all participating, getting along, socializing, very respectful, and frankly, just having a good time. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, and that sounds like some of the activities that I've witnessed from the soccer league teams that are all over. And they were always looking for space, especially a few years back when they were really sprucing up. But yes, we do have that use of facilities form, and I think that form allows us to get more information. But I'll gladly share it and put it on the agenda. Thank you for that. And with that, the announcements of future meeting dates and other routine information concerning the governing board. The next regular governing board meeting will be held on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. at the Cartwright School District Boardroom. A special governing board meeting will be held on April 13th, 2026 at 6 p.m. at the Cartwright School District Boardroom. And with that, the next item is adjournment. I move that we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu, and I will proceed with a roll call vote. How do you vote on the adjournment?
I vote aye, Madam President.
Thank you. And Ms. Hernandez, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Romero, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
I'd like to explain my vote real quick. I'd like to thank Ms. Cobos and all the educators who were here in support of Ms. Hecht and Brandon West. Thank you. You are going to be missed. Their gain, our loss. Thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you. And your vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And with that, I vote aye, and motion carries, and we are now adjourned. Please let the record reflect that it is 7:22. Thank you.